Hey guys, Billy here with Preacher's Creatures. I want to do a follow-up video on the last one I did where I used this Pearl X carbon black powder, and it did real well, making some a smoke colored bait that I could add flake to. Here's an example of that, and it's fairly transparent, but it made a good smoke base for just adding some flake to it, and that was with 2 scoops of the 1/32 teaspoon of the powder. And then I tried another experiment where I added purple flake to it, like I had done with the Do It 2X powder, and it turned brown to purple color shift. And this is the glitter that I used. I believe I got this at Michael's. I put 2 scoops of that in there and 1 scoop of this small fine flake, and what it did, it turned it from this to this brown with a color shift to purple. So after I posted that video, Adam over at SDG reached out to me in the comments and mentioned that that the cheaper glitters and things that weren't made for bait making will bleed. And I had heard that, I knew that, but I had never experienced it to where I knew that's what it was. And so apparently what we have here is the result of that flake bleeding. And so one of the things I like to do is I like to tinker with the cheaper powders, you know, mess around, tinker around with them, and it's not as much money out of pocket. But I think what that proves is that you can't always trust the results. And so I've got some powder or some glitter here that's made for bait making, so I'm going to try this again and use this purple Halo 0.015 hex cut. I'm going to use that and see if it has the same result. I have a feeling that that it will not, and will keep the color the way it's supposed to be. So hang around and we'll get started. Alright guys, we got our plastisol up to temperature, and we're going to take our Pearl X powder and we're going to put the same measurement we did. Tell you what, let's start out with, let's do 1.5 or thereabouts. I did 2. It's a little, it's like Darth Vader, a little on the dark side. So I'd like for it to not be quite as dark, but we'll get this mixed in, and we'll add our flake. And that was 1.5 of scoops of the 1/64th, or as it says on there, a smidgen. Alright, so that's good. Now let's get our flake. Now this is from Do It. Got this when I first got started, and it's kind of medium size compared to some of the other stuff that I have. So we'll mix that in. We'll do 2 scoops of it, and I don't have any fine powder or fine flake that is made to resist the high heat. So we'll just have to go with this. That's all right. So far it's looking pretty good. I'm tickled because I was really wanting something I was hoping that wouldn't, hoping that what Adam was telling me was right on, because I really would like a transparent bait with purple flake. So, all right, we're going to reposition the camera, and we'll shoot these molds. How about that? Is that fast enough for you? All right. Here we go. One I really want to do is that stonefly mold. Almost forgot to engage my vise there. Well, we got it. Okay. I think we got enough. Let's shoot this. It's the 2.5 inch tracer shad. All right, we'll let these cool off, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, it's been long enough to let these set up in the molds. And first one I want to do is the 1.375 stonefly, and excited about checking this one out. All those little appendages. Yes, sir. That is what we were looking for. Thank you, Adam. That is beautiful. Got the it stayed smoke, a smoke base with purple flake. That is what we wanted. So appreciate Adam sharing his wisdom from over on the SDG Custom Lurecraft page, and appreciate him and Michael from Bait Chucking. I learn a lot from those guys. The thing about the bleeding is I've heard people talk about it, but I never really knew what actually it was. I thought that maybe it would just saturate, you know, the plastisol or something, and would, you know, I don't know what I was thinking it was going to be like, but I just didn't know that it would turn it into a color shift. But I'm sure there's different effects from the bleeding. But that is gorgeous right there. This is a 2-inch crappie crusher. That is absolutely gorgeous. Yes, sir. Can't say enough about these molds. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, epic bait molds, and they're tough too. You can knock them around a little bit, and they don't hurt them one bit. If you're a little bit of a klutz like me. All right, here we go. Here is the 2.2 caddisfly larva. Where is it going to come off at? There it is, right there. Yes. That is awesome. Man, I hate the camera just doesn't do it justice. And it's a decent little camera my wife got me for Christmas, so I could do these videos. Appreciate my bride. Love her. But that right there is what I was after. I think taking a half of that 1/32 instead of doing 2, doing 1.5. I think that was the key to get that look I was wanting. As far as the saturation goes. Alright, now we got one more, and this is the Angling AI 2.5 tracer. I wish they would take the time to mark their that's one thing I really like about these Epic Bake molds. I'm not trying to be critical, but man, it just makes it so much easier when the information is on the outside. And I mean, you can see I've labeled them, but after you use these for a while, you can see they're starting to peel away. But anyway, what happens on the inside of the mold is beautiful. So it's just a convenience thing. All right, let's see what these 2.5 inch tracers look like. Very nice, very nice, very nice. I like these. These seem. Last time I went crappie fishing, this is the bait that I was catching most of my crappies on, and I like that size. I primarily fish with the 2-inch stuff, but it's nice to have a little bit larger bait in your repertoire. All right, guys, there it is. I appreciate Adam and his wisdom reaching out, leaving a comment, and teaching me something there. That's the look I was going for. Just goes to show that you know, sometimes you get a bargain and on stuff, but it don't always work out. So if you want primo results, use primo supplies. All right, thanks again for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you on the next one. And don't forget, you'll love the features of Preacher's Creatures.